My name is Selah. I'm originally from Ethiopia. My birth parents both passed away when I was 3. My mom and my dad contracted AIDS, and they shortly after then they both passed away. And after that, I was sent to an orphanage with my 2 brothers. When we were 7, we got adopted from Ethiopia to America and brought over here. Yeah, my adopted family, it was a good home when I first got there, but then one of my adopted brothers, he started abusing me at a young age. At 14, I tried to take my life, and I ended up in the hospital, and because of what I told the people in the hospital, my parents basically became angry at me, and they sent me to like 3 or 4 different boarding schools. So when I turned 19, they sent me to Ethiopia. They wanted me to like be appreciative that they adopted me. So when I went out there, they ended up like not telling me that I had a return ticket. So somebody found out like, my story and what happened, and they bought me a ticket to Houston. I think it was like a year later, I found out I was pregnant. I was excited. I didn't really want an abortion, but he wanted me to have one. And so one night, my son's father at the time, he came in the room and he just started to choke me and punch my stomach. And he was like, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill this baby." And so I was really scared. I really thought this was it. Like I was dying. I did end up keeping my baby. But after that, shortly after that, I just started feeling like my self-worth was just in my body. And so I just ran like after one man to another. And the one that I met a few years later was the one I got pregnant, and he ended up telling me like, "You need to have this abortion, or I'm not gonna talk to you." I was gonna get an abortion because I felt like I kept flip-flopping, and he just didn't want to talk to me or communicate with me, and it was somebody I had grown attached to. When we got to the abortion clinic, he was like, "I'm not gonna do this. I'm not paying for it," and he basically just dropped me off in the front. So when I went, it took like 1 minute. Like he would go in and out of the rooms, and so he just came in and he just like told me to lay back, and he suctioned the baby out, and he was like, "You're done." Like a few days later, I was a wreck. Like I was crying, and I was telling God, I was like, "Please just take me." Like I just didn't want to live because I knew I felt the guilt of what I did. Ended up talking to a friend, and she was like, "Hey, you should check out this church. It's called The Refuge." So I was like, "You know what? Okay, I'll go," because I was just desperate like for God to talk to me or take this pain away. Or that week that I went, I was like sitting in I was sitting in the back, and I see this video of Love Life, and I just felt like, man, God is, he's real. Like he's talking to me. I was about to have an abortion, this week, but I was like, God spoke to me, and I was like, not knowing, like they only came to the church once a year, and it was in God's timing that I came here during that week. Once I decided to keep my baby, that's when I told God, like, I'm rededicating my life to you. Like, I need you, God. Like, I can't do this without you. Now, baby Gabriel lives because of the church and because of Love Life. If they weren't here, he wouldn't be here today. Now that Roe versus Wade was overturned, there's a lot of women that are gonna need help. As a church, we need to stand up and be there for the women, that decide to choose life. And for the ones that don't know that they can, run to the church. And God's perfect timing, how I came to the refuge last year, and my abortion was scheduled on May 5th last year. And now a year later, my pastor is leaving actually today on May 4th to ride his bike across America to save unborn babies.